All right, let me make sure it's all up and everything. Because yesterday I had a problem, and then everyone was sad, and I would look like an ass. But all right,
It wasn't you. It
it
was
wasn't me.
Twitch.
It was Twitch. All
I
right,
sent
When
you the
in doubt,
update.
it's
Yeah.
always the server's problem. Never
Uh,
admit fault.
no,
several
it actually
definitely
was
Twitch.
though because Twitch support tweeted like 5 hours later, like, all right, we finally fixed the problem that was causing people to not be able to stream or stopping them from connecting.
All right, so yeah, this is the first FMP Pixels podcast. We're just gonna be talking about gaming and stuff. Yeah, Larry's hype. Um, and we're just gonna go through a list of topics. I'll try to give an explanation. Like I'll try giving context on the topic if it's not a big known one. But the first topic is things we hate in video games. Either that's now the basis for that is either game design, things people put in video games, etc., etc. So, anyone want to start this off?
Well, the most low-hanging fruit that they've got out there is like microtransaction, money-related stuff. I think I'm
Definitely.
lagging too.
You're lagging. Yeah,
Oh, nope,
okay.
never mind. I'm good.
But yeah, for one of the games that
Blackwall.
microtransactions destroyed for me was Dead Space 3. Because I was I was having a good time with it. It was fun, co-op, cool, a little bit more actiony than the last ones. But then as soon as I saw that like shop, like that whole you upgrade your weapons thing, and then there's a shop and you have to farm for shit, and it destroyed the game for me. It really ruined the game for me
You
completely.
could farm, or you could purchase 17 scavenger bots and then just farm in one map and then get the most powerful gun in the game,
And then
and
kill
then
everything.
suddenly everything just falls over, even the small Ethiopian zombies.
Yep. Yeah,
They're my favorite zombies.
that
I
was
That's
don't
so
think
messed
there's
up, by the
anything
way.
wrong with microtransactions as long as they don't affect the game directly. Is like the whole thing with KF2, which is the most recent debacle with microtransactions. I wouldn't really say debacle; that's probably bad terminology. But
Mhm.
it was a lot of controversy in the community itself. But at the end of the day, they're not pulling a Payday 2 where the skins actually affect the
Yeah,
stats
that was
or
the thing that killed me with that. I'm like, I'm fine with a lot of different parts of that, but when suddenly your skins increase the damage you deal and the good items you find by like 25% for
Uh-huh.
like the most expensive skin, then I'm just like, really? Is that what we want to do? Killing Floor 2 is fine, mostly just because Killing Floor 2 said right at the start, like, we're keeping our model that we've got, which is like buy skins for the characters, and the vast majority of the content for the game is going to be free. Like, they've already said like the expansions are going to be free or they're going to
Mhm.
be stupid cheap, so you won't even notice that they're not free. And I mean, I like the Tripwire people because when I wanted to review that game, they gave me 3 copies for the early access with no questions asked. They're
Um
just like, "Oh, let's do the thing, man."
Yeah, I definitely agree. No, I'm not saying all microtransactions are bad or all DLC is bad. I think the way Killing Floor is doing it, a lot of people who are shocked about it, as I said before, people should have seen that coming. The way the inventory system is set up is completely set up for a market. Um, but I don't think
I
it's
mean,
bad.
I don't know why they're so surprised. I mean, they're surprised in the way that people were surprised that the black characters in the Hunger Games were black. Like, I envisioned them in my head that they were white. What happened, director? Like, they
Yeah.
said from the beginning, like, we're keeping the skins model. Like, we're gonna have skins and stuff and other little bits and bops. Although it looks like they want to start selling like Team Fortress 2 keys for like crates. That is kind of weird. Like, mostly just because everyone's been doing that lately. Like, oh, you can buy crate keys. Like,
Mhm.
do we need to be the 17th person that does that?
I mean, it's just like the way that market works with keys and crates. It's like so it's worked, so they're gonna keep doing it as long as it keeps working. It's like a gambling sort of thing, and people are addicted to gambling, and it's a easy way to get people's money. Someone's gonna spend too much money, someone's gonna take advantage of it, and the keys are used as like currency, etc., etc. So they definitely looked into that, and I'm sure they've been working with Valve on the best way to approach it. and that was probably the best.
They didn't work
Yeah.
with Valve.
They
They
didn't
said
work with
that they
Valve. Well, I'm
Well,
just
sure they had to do some communication
they
back and forth with
mimicked.
the market.
No, Valve has the way Valve has set up their market now.
Oh
They
yeah, I know
want
any
game
game
dev.
could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
making it so that it's very integratable with their games because they want more and more multiplayer games to,
Mhm.
go Valve to use Valve as their microtransaction platform because Valve at the end of the day is making a percentage of every transaction. And again, it's something Valve doesn't have to pay anyone to oversee, so it's just 100% pure profit for Valve. Um, and that was the thing is though they didn't talk to Valve or consult them. They just basically said, and they publicly stated this somewhere, that all they did was just mimic exactly how CS:GO
Mhm.
handles in-game transactions with skins. Nothing's gonna affect it. Blah blah blah. Um, it is what it is. If you look at the actual skins that are in the marketplace now, I
Uh-huh.
mean they're terrible. They're all pretty much shot. So
What do you mean they're shot? Like they're shit skins or like
yeah,
the
they're shit. It's
Yeah, the
yeah.
ones that Valve have been putting out, and I definitely I personally am seeing this with CS:GO, and this is my opinion. Maybe people don't think this, but the new revolver, the only reason they added the new revolver to CS:GO is to sell skins, more
Yeah,
skins for the game.
well, yeah, we were having this conversation earlier. That's
Yeah.
exactly why they did it. Because at the end of the day, that's the new big thing. Like putting out like packs. Like okay, like oh, we updated this game. Here's the new content we added.
Mhm.
And like I got a pop up window when I logged into Steam today that said, oh, here's which are new update in CS:GO, and I had the revolver, the case. But at the end of the day, that's all they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
and when they do release new maps, it usually comes with a price tag, for a limited time. Like, you could buy these maps, you could play them for like a certain amount of time. But the way they sell it to you is in a form of an event. So nobody questions it because, like, oh, this is a limited time event. I'm getting involved in it. At the end of the day, Valve is just milking you for everything
Mhm.
you potentially got. And I know because I was involved. But this
Yeah.
whole skin game it plays to our vanity. That's that's what it really does. And there's a lot of vain people out there, including myself, apparently.
Wait, one quick, one real quick. I just want to address the chat because I do see a chat. Hi everyone. Kind of sort of said that a little while ago, but Freedom has a deep voice. He's the top right. You can tell when Larry's talking.
Freedom, say words right now and be like, "Hi, I'm Freedom." He's the
Hi, I'm
cat.
Freedom,
Yeah, and
the
Sheik,
cat,
Sheik, just say something.
the
Oh,
Christmas
hello.
cat.
I
Yeah,
exist too.
that's Sheik. So
She
Sheik's
does
the top one.
exist.
Yeah, Sheik, he's there.
I'm like
He's
a
there.
ghost.
He's a ghost. He's spooky. Um,
I'm the one who's a living face as well as Betty.
mhm.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
you can see
Also,
my.
Butamus is seeing me, who knows me from before I was a part of this. Hello, Butamus. How are you?
All right, but
Oh yeah,
the
Larry is one of our video reviewers. We
Oh
should say
yeah.
that.
I probably should
I
should
am.
have introduced everyone. I feel like an idiot now, but yeah, Larry does he does video reviews for Fumi Pixels. You can see it on the website. Um,
They just put me in a room with a camera and said, "You can be in here. This is where the YouTube stuff happens." And then they locked the door and like stuffed towels under the door frame, and I was like, "That's weird."
yeah, 3 meals per video.
The funny thing
Yeah.
is, I got a deep voice, but like, yet I'm only 5'7" white guy.
Yeah,
So,
very
and I
very
look, and I'm
monotone.
like, I'm in my 30s, but I look like I'm in my early 20s. It's hilarious, but
Yeah,
I sound like a big black dude.
He has to pay his roommate to go buy him booze because no one believes that's a real ID.
That's right. Actually, it was funny because I just quit smoking cigarettes not too long ago. But when I used to go to the store, every once in a while, I would get ID'd if I didn't know the person.
Damn.
It's
Excuse me,
hilarious.
sir. Can I see an ID? And also 2 other IDs? And maybe a birth certificate?
Blood type.
Exactly.
And Sheik is Sheik. I don't know, Sheik. How would you describe yourself?
Damn, you even forgot what my position is too. I'm actually a community moderator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Sheik does the community moderating. And Warframe stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everyone here right now.
Who are you, Betty? Who are you?
I'm a streamer, if you didn't know. I write some article called Cynical Pixels now, and I now do this podcast on FMP Pixels. I even have a barcode for FMP Pixels on the back of my neck, so I check out.
Nice.
But
It's
yeah,
branded in. He can't just get rid of that with laser treatments.
nah, it's in there. It's in there. Yeah, I'm a streamer gaming too. All right, so but back to the topic of like DLC and stuff. I want to. It's not like the next topic, but something else.
Well,
Anyone else?
DLCs and microtransactions are basically cut from the same branch tree of greed. You know, they say money doesn't grow off of trees, but when you're talking about microtransactions and DLCs, they definitely do. Because what got me salty with Payday 2 and why I stopped playing Payday 2 is because I think after like the 45th DLC, I just decided, all right, yeah, I'm good on Payday 2. I'm
Well,
actually in. I mean,
I
to
jumped
buy
into
the
Payday
entire
2
package
late.
of Payday 2, you got to like take out a mortgage on your house, get a second job, divorce your wife.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Like,
Help
forget
at least
about
one
sending your
kidney.
kids to college.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into Payday 2. I wrote an article about it. Fuck it.
It's
Like,
kind of like Evolve. I think that's the game, right?
that was sad.
Oh,
Evolve
that
could have
Evolve is a
been.
DLC machine. And the sad part about Evolve is that they said from the get-go, we want this to be a DLC selling device.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I told no one to buy it when I did videos back then was just like, you only got maybe half the game, if that, on PC when it came out, and then you have to buy like the monthly pass or like the season pass or whatever they call them to
Mm-hmm.
get the other half of the game that you should already have access to. And then you have to pay like $20 a pop for the DLCs that they haven't even announced yet. And I was just like, or I'll just wait and get the whole thing for $5 in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like everyone's getting what was it, Titanfall.
Oh yeah, that game pretty flopped.
Yeah, and I think the worst case of bad like DLC microtransaction stuff was, I don't know if anyone here has played the beta for Dead Island Epidemic on Steam. I don't know if it's still
Yep.
in beta,
Sheik did.
but nobody plays it and you can't find a PvP match, mostly because they decided that like, okay, we have like a tenth of the content that we need, so let's start making a bunch of skins before the game's even out to see if we can't get into the black now as
Mhm.
opposed to later. So
Yeah, definitely. What Payday 2 did was complete shit. Wait, what's the next game? I just like spaced out with the next game you were just talking about, Larry. Dead Island, right?
yeah, Dead Island Epidemic.
Take
It's
Dead Island Epidemic.
basically Dead Island is like, hey, you know what makes a lot of money? A MOBA. We should
Mhm.
turn a zombie game into a MOBA. And
Isn't the
everyone's
game
just
dead?
like, is it? I have no
I'm
idea.
pretty sure
Like,
they're
I did
shutting
it
down the
like a year
servers.
It is
ago.
dead.
They're shutting down the
Oh,
servers. Last I
yeah,
heard.
that would make sense because there was nothing to do in it. There was one map, the same like 3 missions on the map if you played the PvE side, and I waited 3 hours one time trying to try the PvP side of things, and there was nothing.
Mm,
It was DOA.
yeah. And that game is online only, right? There's no way to play it.
There was like some single player campaign missions to try and like teach you the game, which was actually funny enough better than the actual game.
Mm. Um all right, yeah. I'm gonna mention that in a second, Mateo. But going back to Evolve, I think that game could have been successful. I think that could have been a good game that not it never got like huge, but like you know the fame Left 4 Dead has. It's not like huge, but it's not dead. It's kind of just like in that area where it exists and everyone kind of knows about it and fond of it.
Well, part of the thing that still keeps Left 4 Dead alive in both of its first and second installments is the fact that you can get a lot of user-generated
Oh yeah,
content.
definitely,
It's the same
definitely.
reason why Killing Floor 1 on like after Evolve launched had more players than Evolve is
Mhm.
because people make a lot of mods for that, a lot of maps, and they even had this really ridiculous vehicles mod where you're supposed to go on like derbies, but everyone just spent their time in 40-man servers running each other over with bumper boats that somehow worked on land. It was great.
Yeah, user created content is definitely a huge bonus, but why do user created content when you could charge for some shit you made?
Oh, I
Um,
like this Kiddigan guy. He's just like, remember the pre-order, but like
oh
choose your own
yeah,
pre-order for
oh,
Deus Ex.
augment your
That was a good
pre-order.
example, Kiddigan.
Oh,
I hate pre-orders. I hate pre-orders so much because nobody can buy the whole version of the game anymore. It
Mm-hmm.
used to be like you could buy it with a friend and you could play like the full version of the latest first-person shooter on like an Xbox, and you'd like both go over to your friend's place and play it. But like a bad example is like, well, a good example of bad stuff to do is there wasn't a single thing you could buy from Watch Dogs
Mm-hmm.
where you
That's what I was
got
about to bring up.
everything. Yeah. And Watch Dogs was a pretty phenomenal flop, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah. It's not like you don't hear anyone like, "What's your favorite game?" Watch Dogs. You're never really gonna hear that.
Like Hackers meets GTA 5. It's just like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but something's not working.
Exactly. Let me try to show real quick how that game is. Let me see if I can get this real quick. Uh, Here, this will probably work fine. There we go. All right, that kind of works fine. But you can see here. Let me put it out Sheik's face. Poor Sheik.
Oh no,
Um,
L0, it wasn't a poor man's GTA. That was expensive to get like the good packs that had like the interesting side missions apparently. You spend like $80.
So yeah, here's most of the chart, like half of it. But as you can see, you have to get the standard edition to get some of the stuff. It's a season pass, gold edition. You play deluxe edition, digital deluxe edition, dead sec edition, fucking only on place. And then on top of that, they had console. What the hell? What was that word? I just forgot it. Exclusives, console exclusives. It's just that. Yeah, that was completely
And then
was
Deus
fucked.
Ex was just like, we won't unlock these pre-order things unless like enough people like pre-order that we practically don't even have to release the game
Mm-hmm.
anymore. We've already made our money back. And then there was such outrage from people, especially on YouTube and other like social media outlets. Didn't they cancel the Deus Ex choose your pre-order thing?
Yes, they canceled it and they're like, "Oh, we heard the community. Now you get all this stuff for free. Aren't we so great? Buy our game." You know, like they did acting like they're an
Oh
angel
yeah.
for doing it. You should be thankful and you should buy it now.
Oh, and that was the response when they started letting you just flat out buy weapons and side upgrades for Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, don't you feel so relieved that you have the choice to play it your way and give us 20s of your dollars for everything?
Yeah,
Oh, EA.
a lot of companies do that whole like the player guilt thing, and that was one of the things I was gonna say. I guess we're going into devs now. But yeah, they do that whole like, aren't we so good? You know, we're angels. They just try to guilt players, kind of. You know, do that guilt thing, and they just look like assholes, complete assholes.
Yeah, Zubusway figured out the exact direction that they're going. Eventually, you'll have to just pick a pack, and you can just kind of like a la carte pick which parts of the game you want. Like, do you want all of the polygons, or you just want a third of the polygons? Or do you want sound, or are you okay with just sound effects whenever they jump, so it sounds like you're like listening to women's tennis with the lights off, and your eyes
Mm.
closed, just like, oh yes.
Well, that goes into the newest controversy coming out of Square Enix, which is with the Final Fantasy VII remake, which
Oh
is
no.
supposed to be episodic, like Life is Strange. That seems
Mm.
to be the new trend everybody's taking from Telltale Games, where let's release the game in 30 different parts.
Do you have to buy the Life is Strange chapters separately, or do you just like buy it once and then it gets released slowly?
You could, I think,
Um,
I think Life is Strange was released over a short amount of time, and then once they released the final chapter, you could buy all the chapters in
Because
one
I just
box.
bought like I think whatever's all out for that for $5 recently. I'm just like, did I just get ripped off already? And this podcast just started.
Yeah,
uh,
the one all the chapters I think were on sale. You could have got them for like $12 or something like that. The last sale, and they'll probably go on sale again. But the best, look at the left what's the fucking series? The Walking Dead series. It's episodic, and right now, if you look at that game on the Google Play Store under Telltale, I think that's who makes it.
mhm.
They got a lot of bad reviews because people are buying the game and they're getting just one chapter, and they think they're purchasing the whole version of the game on mobile.
Yeah.
And then once they go into the game, they beat the first chapter, and it's like, all right, spend another $5 for the second chapter, and there's like 6 chapters, and people are raging all over the place. And now SquareSoft, people want Final Fantasy VII, like they want a remake, okay? And Square Enix, I should say. No, it's not. It was good when it was SquareSoft. Now it's Evil Corporation, Square Enix. People want a straight game, but Square Enix is like, oh, the game is too massive for us to put out in one release. Are you fucking kidding me? Or we're not. It's not like you're putting it out on disc and you're gonna have to put out like 17 discs for this game, all Blu-ray. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, someone over there needs to teach Square Enix how to optimize their games, because if that's the sole reason it's a problem. It's because, I can understand them being serious about that, because Final Fantasy 13 was 60 gigs. It did not need to be 60 gigs. Okay, if they had one person that knew game optimization, that game could have been at least 24 gigs, if anything. But I think it's a big fucking joke. I think it's kind of slap in the face. And they are saying, though, the entire game, Final Fantasy VII, to be in the first release. But they're not saying what these other episodic releases. Like, some people are theorizing that maybe it's the secondary games that were in FF7, such as like Chocobo Racing and stuff, which I guess would be cool, but it should still be included in the base game, because, again, that's how it was. Why change it? It's greed.
I don't like. I'm not against episodic games. Telltale's been doing it for a long time. They've done it for a while.
I tend to think it's okay if you have. It's like anything in game design. If there's a good reason to do it, it probably will make sense to your audience. If you're just doing it because you think you should, then you're an idiot and there's something wrong here, and people should be like, I don't know. It's kind of like the 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second argument. It's not that, like, everybody's going to get a lot more out of it, like 60 frames wise. It's if that thing's dipping below 30, someone got lazy and you're getting ripped off somewhere.
Your eyes can't see over 20. Who cares, right?
I think the best are like people that rage on like old school Final Fantasy games and like, yo, I'm only getting 30 frames per second, and people aren't aware that the engine was just not built to handle more than that. And you really don't need 120 frames per second in a game that has like 2D artwork. You know what I'm saying?
For older games, it's understandable.
You want to talk about top-notch older games that never went anywhere? I just played this old game that I saw linked during a discussion about like how small old cartridge games were. I'll type it out in chat. Look for the ISG community dude, but it's called Krieger, and it still runs beautifully on Windows 10. Like, I didn't have a single problem, and it was done by a couple of three German dudes as a part of like a next-gen competition in Germany, and the whole game plays and looks like Doom 3, but it's 96 kilobytes. Like, this is how you play at 60 FPS in 2015 from 2004, and using Wizard and Dark, like Tom Cruise magic. Like, Xenu's involved a little bit.
Yeah. I think I do want to agree kind of that, yes, space is kind of being abused in a way. Space seems to be less and less cared about. But there's definitely ways developers can make it less.
I don't care about space, okay? But I
care. I have no money. What were you gonna say, Freedom?
Sorry, I thought I turned off. Hold on. My dinosaurs are getting loud.
Oh my god, Freedom. Ark.
Yeah, I'm playing Ark too.
But
what was I saying?
About the space, about game space.
Oh, like, okay, I understand, like, where space, some people do care about space. Personally, I don't care about space. I think a good majority of people don't care about space because terabytes have gone way down in price, especially on mechanical drives. And I prefer to play video games on mechanical drives. I just think they last longer. I think they're a little bit more stable. I do have SSD, so it's not like...
And they won't cost me the organs of my firstborn child.
Yeah, so, like, and this is what... to go back to what I think Al Zero was saying about them. The game would just be too massive. I don't care. Like if you're gonna tell me, listen, this game is gonna be 500 gigs, for the full game, I don't care. Let it rip. You'll go down in the Guinness Book of World Records. So it's a double win in publicity for you in my book. It may take me a week to download, but hey. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think. I think well, the other thing besides space that people are really not considering is bandwidth. I think that's the biggest problem. The larger the games, the more bandwidth it
Well, that
takes,
was
and
the
like,
thing that I was going to bring up because I live in the woods. I live near Sasquatch, and out here I get 5 megabytes per second down. But the trouble is, because of my slow upload speed, all the services out there are like, oh, your upload is slow. You must not be able to download much. And they throttle me down. So, a 60 gig game is going to take me like 3 days to download if I let it go. And
Yep.
the way around that, if you absolutely can't compress your stuff, which you can, Blizzard is the king of compressing their game down so small. Like, they're wizards. Like, they can compress their gigantic game down so it's like a few gigs and then you're ready to play. And then you just downloaded something like actually like 10 gigs or something silly. And like the way to fix that is to just have developers be like, you know what, we have this game ready. It's sitting on our servers. We're just doing marketing. Just pre-download it. It's encrypted and stuff on Steam. Now you can install it, be ready to go, and download the 1 gig day one patch and play it when it comes out. You don't have to wait half a week after the release date to finally play the dang thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's interesting like how you can play quite a bit of Blizzard's games when they're not finished downloading. That's something you don't see very
Well, and
common.
they phase it in, so it's like you download the textures that look like someone smudged a crayon on a piece
Exactly.
of paper and took a picture. Then you download the OK textures. Then you download the James Cameron textures.
I think that should definitely be an option for people. Like, well, for Sheik here, he's got pretty bad internet at times, and it's just a better service for people who don't have the time to download 60 gigabytes. Maybe they download 12 and the game looks like it's on Nintendo 64, but if they don't really care about it, then it's fine.
well, these companies you can compress, as Larry was saying, like SquareSoft again. They just have nobody that works in their multi-million billion-dollar company that actually does optimization or compression. So they may want to consider hiring people for those things. But you'll notice like there are a lot of companies where I think Rockstar actually compressed GTA 5, like where the download was like 26 gig, but when it installed, it was like 60 gigs or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did do that.
So it is capable. It's just a matter of the developer actually doing it. But to do it, you're gonna have to hire somebody to do it. That means it's another salary, and you don't want to cut into your $1 billion of profit. God forbid, Valve.
Valve. Always goes back to Valve, right?
Always goes back to
It
Valve.
always goes back to the evil.
Speaking of going back to Valve, Valve, it's okay to remind people that it's your castle and you're king of it and to start kicking some people off, but we'll get to that when we start talking about Psychonauts 2.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could go ahead and talk about Psychonauts too.
I mean,
I never
we'll
even played the
just.
first one. Oh, I did for a little bit.
I'm actually playing the first one, so but I wanna go a little bit farther back. This was a while ago, but
we're
about
going back in
going back
time
in
to
time.
save ourselves.
But
No
when
one
we're
else
talking
can do
about
it. No one will
CS:GO,
come and help.
CS:GO and the new revolver and everything, I feel like the game is becoming more casualized and less rewarding for skilled and long-term players. And I feel like a lot of games are not starting, but have been doing that. That it doesn't matter how much time you put into it or how much skill you have, they start casualizing it. And I'm not saying those filthy casuals. Of course, there's always a need for casual
Filthy
games, but
casuals.
Those filthy casuals that make up 70% of the game's market.
yeah,
Those
exactly.
bastards.
But there should for the others, for the people, for the people who spend hours, hundreds of hours, they should be rewarded in gameplay for doing that. There should be some sort of benefit.
No, because then they would have to do something for free, and that's not cool.
I mean, there are still people out there who are like Hideo Kojima, who are just like, you don't get 100% completion unless you go around the Phantom Pain putting all the toilet seats down for your lady friend.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Like, um, what was it? 100%. What was it? Fuck. I lost my train of thought now. But yeah, it's weird that
Look,
they're
Dartel, are you
doing that.
telling me there's something wrong with paying $25 for extreme fishing that uses 7 other people's mods and
Oh
just reskins
yeah,
them?
yeah.
Something wrong with selling that on the market?
Paid mods
Trollface.
was fucked. That was bad.
Well, they didn't put any rules on it. It's
I know.
classic Valve. They're like, we had to take this thing down because we didn't say that you couldn't like take a flaming dumpster full of like, I don't know, emus and then like sell it to people.
This is how they acted though. Like we love you guys so much. We're gonna allow you to sell mods without any moderation. You're welcome, and you could buy them and give us the tax money. And after you make, how much money did you have to make in order to actually like get money back? I think it was like 1,000 or something, or 200, something around there. And then you start getting a like 5% cut. So yeah, they fucked up. I love when people start selling horse genitalia for like a hundred
Well, and the other
dollars.
thing was just
It was the
like,
best.
they didn't even point out the fact that Bethesda was the one who's like, I get 70% of all the money you make from all your hard
Mhm.
work.
Yeah, Bethesda. They definitely
Well,
want to.
see, it's the bigger picture though, and it's Valve as a business, as a company, as a conglomerate, a monopoly. You know that it's a lot larger picture. Like if you look at the trend of Valve in the last few years, or not even for basically its entire life, Valve only does things that they can make money on and that they don't have to put money into.
Mhm.
Okay, like the whole mod pay for mods. Okay, someone at Valve was like, "All right, guys, I got an idea. If we can tell mods, we'll sell their mods, okay, and we'll make money off of it, and we'll tell them that it's a good idea because they're gonna make money off it and it makes sense. Yeah, sure, to everybody it makes sense. But at the end of the day, Valve is saying we don't have to pay anybody to do any type of quality control here. And the studio is not. And then if anything, we'll put it on the studio, but we can't really put it on the studio because then they're going to turn around and say whatever. And the studio is not going to want to pay somebody to do quality control. So at the end of the day, you're going to end up with people doing what happened is people stealing other people's intellectual property, posting it as their own.
Yeah.
This also happens on Greenlight and a lot of games content that's associated with Steam and the game
There's been
content.
some
Like
stuff.
I just got an indie game not too long ago. I forget the title, but their background wallpapers were all stolen artwork. Okay, but they're still on Valve. Like there's nobody's taking them
Mhm.
down because again, there's nobody doing quality control in the marketplace. So any game developer could literally upload stolen emoticons, stolen backgrounds.
I'm doing it wrong.
You can actually what just happened? That video that Sterling was just talking about. He was talking about how about people uploading other people's games, like legitimately uploading other people's games. Like somebody uploaded Minecraft. They constantly upload Minecraft to the
Mhm.
Steam Greenlight, and it never gets taken down
No.
until it gets reported by thousands and
And
thousands of
like there
people.
are a lot of game places that do that too. Like I remember when Crossy Road first came out and like I got an email out of the blue and I reviewed it. And if you look on the Microsoft Windows 10 store right now, you can see like the top 10 free games. There's Crossy Road. 4 lines down is an obvious Crossy Road ripoff, and it's named almost the same. And they're like right next to each other. And no one in quality assurance ever logged in there is like, wait a minute.
The
Someone stole a picture of Bill Cosby's sweater and spray painted over it and put it on some other, like,
yeah.
someone else's character on another
Yeah.
show. Oh,
Stealing
man.
stealing and copying is a completely on mobile, on apps and games is fucking insane. Okay, you type in Minecraft and you're gonna come up Minecraft Zombie Craft Survival DayZ, some shit like that. It's on I feel like there's no hope
Well, on
for
my
controlling that
recommended
there.
page right now, there's like that thing was like Build Craft World, and I tried it for when it was free for a weekend, and it was literally just Minecraft with different skins on everything, running in C++. And for some reason, there's just a dragon everywhere, just following me around. Like, hey man, your organs look great. You eating all that? No, you sure, bud? Because I'm gonna destroy the ground you're hiding in. Because there's nothing stopping me.
Mhm. Yeah, it's weird. Greenlight it's supposed to be gone. Greenlight is supposed to be gone by now, and it's not. It's weird. They promised they're gonna remove it. They said the system isn't working. We're gonna remove it
They
and
also
keep it.
promised this year that they were going to step up their support game too. That never happened either. Okay, so
That's
Well, I mean, we
I
can
could
get
dedicate a
refunds
whole
now.
this
that is
I
something that is a step in the right
No
direction.
questions asked either. I could just say I don't like it, and they'll just be like, "Fine, there you go."
It's a step in the right direction,
Well,
but
actually, no, they won't do that anymore because if the game has Steam trading cards, they will no longer let you return the game or something in that. Because I was some of the game collectors were talking about that recently, of how yeah, if Steam if because people were buying games, getting all the trading cards, and then returning the game, getting the game returned.
hmm.
I didn't have a
So
problem.
I
I don't
know
know what they're.
if you buy the games in a bundle, like the collections you can't get returned, and some games were doing that so you couldn't get returns. That was some sleazy bullshit. Yeah, that's why they delayed trading card drop. Oh yeah, they delayed the trading card drops now because of that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
there you
that's what
go.
it was. Yeah.
Solution. I don't get any trading cards for a while, and I can still be like, I loathe this pile of crap. Like Moonbase 9 or whatever that game
Mm-hmm.
was. That literally had like poorly ripped off necromorphs in the second level.
Mm, yeah. Um. All right. So anyone
Oh
else
man.
got anything to say about things they hate in games or devs or that developers do? Anything else? Freedom, any you want to go off on Valve right now, or we'll save that
Nah,
for
I'll
another
save a
time?
whole podcast for
Yeah,
that.
we'll save a whole podcast for that one. All right. So the next one,
I
the
wrote
next
my
topic.
thesis on Valve.
You have a thesis.
Yeah,
Jesus, Freedom. Let's wait for a documentary. But
that's how I'm gonna get my PhD.
the next topic is new releases. Just generally new releases. Any games you've been playing. The one I've been playing obviously is Fallout 4. Does anyone want to start this one off?
Why don't we just talk about Fallout 4?
Fallout
Well,
4.
Matt, I know Matt wrote a whole
Fallout 4 is
article
great.
about Fallout 4, so he's clearly got some issues there.
I can understand where his anger was from, but yeah, it's definitely they didn't they could have done better. They could have done so much better. I know I'm a big Fallout fan. Everyone thinks I just love the game, but it's all right. It's
It's a very
fun.
nice open world first person shooter.
But it's
I don't
not a
know about
great.
that RPG thing people are telling me about. I mean, all options are you the wondrous hero who saves the damsel in distress?
There's
No, I'm not. In fact, I just robbed the damsel and shot her boyfriend, so
I really hate the lack of choice and the lack of dialogue. Like there's so much dialogue in 3 and New Vegas. New Vegas I think did a great job, and I really hope that Obsidian gets to make another Fallout because I feel like they'll do what's right.
or
But
if there's a DLC, they give it to Obsidian so it's done correctly.
um that's something else I want to talk about the future DLC with Fallout 4, but real quick on the dialogue. Like, why did they have to follow the four choice Mass Effect dialogue thing? I don't understand. Maybe they were pressured into doing it. It's just so weird. They've been going about it the other way for so long and it was fine. You
I was
know?
just happy about my first discovery upon visiting the Institute, which meant that the thing I hated about the whole storyline up until that point meant I could just kill everyone because he's like an old man.
Oh yeah, New Vegas, right?
I mean, no, I'm talking about Fallout 4.
Oh, 4 for 4, I was confused.
New Vegas, the thing I hated about New Vegas was the continued proliferation of the romanticized idea of the cowboy. Like, it basically when I played that game, it was way down the road, like a year and a half ago.
Mhm.
And like some NPC I got up to was just like, "Well, son," he's like holding his gun. "You don't really know yourself until you know your gun, or you don't know your gun until you know yourself." And I'm like, "Then you must be like slow in the head because this is very simple." And I pointed my gun at him and said out loud in my own house full of people,
Mhm.
You see, you pull this little hammer back, and you stop moving, and then everyone else in that area didn't like me anymore, and I was fine with that.
But that's the thing. That's what made New Vegas good. You could kill people. People don't like you. Then that faction doesn't like you. All right, you whatever. You go into the next faction. In four, it's like, all right, you can't really kill anyone unless you did this first. And when you kill someone, it's very like a scripted type of killing. It has to be a quest.
I
Um.
accidentally killed one of the synth people the Underground Railroad, I guess, would have wanted me to save later, and I went
Mhm.
back to them. I didn't even know I killed her, and they're just like, they start shooting me the second I come through the door. I'm like, A, how do you even know that I shot this
Mhm.
person? B, where were they? And C, I don't even like you anyway. I have mini nukes. Hey, enjoy.
But like I feel like they went very backwards on the whole faction relationship thing. It's really just they hate you and they want to kill you, or they like you, or you're neutral. That's it. There's only three. In Vegas, it was verified, merciless thug, accepted, neutral,
Can
good
you?
natured. Like there
I
was a whole
haven't
bunch of
finished it
things.
yet. Can you even join like a group of raiders as a faction?
Pretty much. The
No.
powder gangers are like raiders. The cons
No,
are
no, I mean
raiders.
Fallout 4.
Oh no, no, you're the good guy.
See, that's my problem. I'm not a good guy. I am
Exactly.
not a good guy in these, and
You.
almost no one in an apocalypse is going to be a good guy either, except
Mhm.
maybe the Brotherhood because they got this creepy religion thing going on, like one of the cults from the Springs here in Colorado.
They're such
Like,
hypocrites, though.
yeah, but well, that's cult for you.
Mhm.
I mean, let's be honest here. But like, I was not. No one won in New Vegas, and you could make it so no one would win. Like I took the old man out of the cryo tube, and I just left him there to hang in like suspended,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like, you gonna murder me? Like, nope, you can just hang out, buddy.
yeah. He dies anyway, though.
Oh, I know. He was hanging out flopping in the
um,
wind, and he's like 200 years old.
yeah. It's just the factions in four are just very like I don't know, copy paste. I want to say, but not exactly.
It's very safe. They
Yeah.
really wanted the whole thing to me just feels like they're trying to make too many callbacks to the old games and they didn't keep enough like new stuff. It's like the fact that people are trying to theory craft how this dog meat is related to the dog meat from the original game. And actually that reminds me, I need to rename the dog to Freddie Mercury because that's what I named the dog. Like this is not a
Mhm.
thing. You're Freddie Mercury now. And I put Freddie Mercury's brain in a dog and that's the story now. Joy.
Uh. Yeah. I thought you were able to name the dog at first, but I guess
I
not.
think I can modify the game
All
files or
all you need to
rename them with
do if you're
command
on
console
PC,
stuff.
yeah, if you're on PC, just open the console, click on it, and it's like set name something. It'll set it.
I just recently made a bunch of videos where I just spawned like death claws and synths and had little wars and stuff.
That's always fun. But yeah, Fallout 4, it's not terrible. It's just not what it could have been.
It was a very nice first person shooter that happened to let you talk to people.
Exactly. Yeah. You could be sarcastic or and nice. You could be nice, or you could be
Even
ask a
sarcastic
question.
is just like the lamest poop joke that the writer could think of at the time, really.
Mm.
I thought it was an RPG.
Hmm.
It says
I think that
that, but
term
it
is thrown
certainly
out too
doesn't
much.
present itself as such.
The term RPG, I think there needs to be more terms made up because like Fallout 4 an RPG and what's another game that's like a real heavy art and
Dragon
uh,
Age.
I think it's something like really hardcore RPG. You get choice, you get everything. Think of one. I say Morrowind. Morrowind has a lot of dialogue choices and a lot of people say that's one of the best RPGs. And you could even kill the main people, the main characters, everything. It tells you that you're not going to be like something bad happen. You're not going to be able to progress in the main story, but it gave you that choice. It's a role playing game. It should give you that choice, and I feel there's a need to invent new terms because the term RPG is just for too much. It's there. You could get completely opposite things in that one genre. You know. Um, but yeah, it's weird. And what else I was gonna say about Fallout and the DLC is I feel like it's not finished, and the reason for that is Fallout New Vegas, it did like when you just finish it without the DLC and before the DLC even came out, it was just like it's an alright game. But after the DLC came out for New Vegas and you beat all the DLC, it's a great game with the DLC. The DLC closes the story gaps. It feels like it was meant to be the original story, and I think that's what they're gonna do with Fallout 4. I feel like once all the DLC is out, it's gonna feel more complete. Which isn't necessarily a good thing. It's definitely not a good thing, but I think that's the way they're going about it. Yeah, we're still on Fallout. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
we
finish it up soon, I'm sure.
yeah, we can stop now. Any other recent releases that people have been playing or want to talk about? Because I really just played Fallout 4, and then that was really it for my new
I
ones.
mean, I played Just Cause 3 recently and
Mhm.
recorded a few videos I still need to edit, but as someone who's never played a Just Cause game, like, this just seems like go blow people up, and, like, it kind of feels like the faction thing from. Which was the Grand Theft Auto where you first got to play as a black guy?
Well,
It feels like.
it
San
was
Andreas.
produced by Michael Bay, so
Yeah, it feels like you're in that game capturing territory
Mhm.
for seemingly no reason. And there's kind of a story mode, but it's really just to encourage you to go do that and make you aware that you should be capturing bases. So it looks like most people it just devolves into getting new like cars and stuff to attach cows to then attach to the giant wind turbines.
Yeah. Um, I don't know too much about Just Cause because obviously I haven't played it, but I have heard that like it's pretty heavy, like really like a heavy game on people's systems, and that keeping it
It
pretty
was the first
nice.
time I've ever had to get a day one driver for a new game.
Hmm.
Because I'd go through like 2 minutes into the first like welcome to Just Cause 3. You were just surfing on a plane, here's a rocket launcher, and then it would crash. And AMD is just like, I don't know, here's a patch that fixes something. It's like voodoo. I don't know.
Oh. Oh, Battlefront. Right, Battlefront. Huge, absolutely huge disappointment in my eyes.
You mean Battlefield that happens to have stormtroopers?
Battlefield: The Force Within.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say 100%. It's just Battlefield reskin because it would
It's
be
really
it.
nice if you really like first person shooters that are
Uh-huh.
first person shooters that happen to let you be a first person shooter
Mhm.
with mechs and like Darth Vader throwing stuff at you.
Yeah.
That's that's about all I could say about it.
If it was Battlefront reskinned, I think the game would be better because Battlefront. I mean, not no. Battlefield has a whole bunch of guns you can unlock, customize it, a wide variety of maps. The squad play is pretty nice. You know, it's a good game. Battlefield 3 is good. Battlefield 4, meh. But Battlefront, like how many? There's like 8 guns in that. I don't know. There's really a huge lack of guns. They did the whole DLC. What is it? They have 3 editions, and if you get the highest quality edition, it's like $100 or something, 80, $90. You get this pistol, right? And it's the last weapon you unlock. And this pistol does as much damage as an anti-tank gun, but you can shoot it
nice.
faster. It's
Well,
it's.
when I was playing it, and I played both the beta and a friend's account when it came out,
Mhm.
there's a decent okay kind of variety of guns if you consider it compared to like other kind of generic first person shooters.
Mhm.
But the problem was that everyone kind of had one of two guns, like the little hand blaster that looked like someone put a sniper scope on a revolver, and then like the big stormtrooper machine gun that just
Mhm.
shot a little bit faster. And those were the two everyone had. Everyone had a jetpack. Everyone had the kind of sniper rifle, and
Yeah.
that was it.
There's little what the hell is that word? Little pressure or you don't really change up what you use. And a lot of stuff goes unused. I feel like a lot of it's just to be in there. There's a lot of stuff missing, I feel, in Battlefront.
My whole mission in that game when I was playing during the beta was to find a flying vehicle, and if I saw Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, to hit them with it. That was just that was my mini game. That was my emergent gameplay experience. And
Mm.
I guess there's a stream, I don't know where it is, where this dude makes it a point in the map where you can play as Boba Fett. He flies around waiting until someone flies up as Boba Fett and hits them.
That's
It's amazing. I
great.
loved that.
But
I
I'm
don't know. Again,
understanding.
I think it was overhyped. I think it was all hype. Ever since when they even showed it at E3, I was like, oh, this game's gonna be all hype. And then when we played the demo, I was like, this game is so unbalanced. And I still think it is. And just as you were mentioning, and again, I don't. I think with that game, I think it's a money grab. That's all it is.
Definitely. They had.
Yeah, and they're already like starting to think about and announce like the DLCs coming, and I'm like, if you already have that planned, you should just have that in the game. It should be another half year before I even see you talk about a concept for a DLC.
I think the biggest issue with a lot of these online multiplayer games, and I think this is a big concern. This is why most of these games don't last a lot, like as long as say like CS:GO or Left 4 Dead 2. And remember, Left 4 Dead 2 was given away for free
Yeah.
last Christmas. Okay, not that it matters because Valve again, they go into a sale, you could buy these games for dollars, literally. But I think it's a big point. Like even with Overwatch, again, there's a lot of games that are already out that are similar to Overwatch. So it's not like Overwatch is doing anything particularly that new outside of
It's
maybe
just a
some.
slight evolution on the arena shooter. I mean,
Well, everything is, arena shooters. Unreal Tournament basically started that whole genre
yeah,
of
and
arena
then that one guy
multiplayer.
made a mod for the Half-Life engine that became Team Fortress 1, which evolved. Apparently, the original version of Team Fortress 2 was going to be very alien-y, and everyone was going to
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
some stuff from Half-Life, but they kind of made it what it is now. So there's been a bunch of games that have tried to kind of monopolize on the arena shooter department, and I mean, they've done okay, but a lot of them have kind of died. But the thing that kind of gets me lately with games like that is sort of, and this kind of goes back to Titanfall. They always try to sell this like this cinematic gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
and Titanfall was, look, you can wall run and like parkour and be a target for the one sniper in the corner of the map shooting people. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. The second I got into the game, I'm like, this parkour is only good for getting to a second floor window faster or to a roof faster. So I got a sniper rifle burn card and I just sat in the corner like, and there's an idiot, and there's an idiot, and there's a
Yeah.
guy who's kind of an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all that became.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say before was that like I think a lot of these games like I won't purchase Battlefront. I won't purchase Overwatch only because they're already planning on DLCs. Like, and you want $60 for the game. And then on top of it, you're gonna release DLCs, and I just
I
feel
think
like,
Overwatch just announced that their DLCs are gonna be free.
oh, I hope
Aren't they
one of
selling the
that.
characters? Like,
Yeah, that's what I think they're doing. What basically,
But they're mostly just they're offering like the maps and some of the other stuff around that for free.
but I don't know.
I
I feel
think
like
these
for
games. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
if you're gonna have DLCs in a online multiplayer game that has no single person, has no story mode, nothing, just strictly online multiplayer. I think that and you're gonna have DLCs. I think that the base game should be free to play, and that people should purchase DLCs, or you charge for the base game and you make your DLCs free. I think this will give you a huge amount of new players, and keep the game going for a lot longer, and you could sell more content. I mean, realistically, if Overwatch was a free-to-play game and they just sold in-game items, they'd crush it. They'd fucking crush it.
I think
They
I
they
was
should.
really surprised that they didn't just do like Heroes of the Storm because I mean, a lot of games of similar nature are going to be free to play when they come out. I mean, there's something like I think Gigantic, the one that I originally upgraded to Windows 10 is going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this other one where it's like Cops vs. Robbers with super gravity powers is going to be mostly free to play. So it seems weird that's like the one thing on Blizzard's like docket right now that they decided to not make free to play when like all their other free to play games are basically printing the money.
I feel like they will. I feel like they're gonna make the switch after a little while. Get that initial bank from people buying the game once it's out, and then go free to play.
What are they gonna do? A Valve on like TF2?
Yeah.
I think.
Remember
Well,
everyone
TF2
who
was
paid
dying.
money?
TF2
Well,
was
we're
Yeah,
not going to
but this
give
is
you
what
money.
I'm saying. Like, people should learn, and this brings me back to another point about these game companies and their actual employees, being actual gamers. Because I got a whole thing going with Valve employees. I'm tracking their actual gameplay. It's hilarious. Anyway, it's not really hilarious because when you find out a lot of game developers don't actually spend their time gaming, it's kind of weird fact. Like it's interesting to see that type of analytics.
Mhm.
Anyway, I think like if you want your game to last like as long as say like TF2 because a lot of the mainstream media was saying, "Oh, Overwatch is going to be the TF2 killer."
No
But
way.
realistically, if you want it to be the TF2 killer, make it free to play. Make it
Mhm.
free to play
TF2 is
and
its
do
own killer,
in-game
honestly.
purchases.
You don't like I feel I'm probably the only one who still enjoys CF2. It's all right. They definitely need to do something though big in a few in this coming year, or yes, they will be left in the dust. Has Sheik spoken at all? I don't know, Sheik. Are you live?
Yeah, I'm alive.
I mean, if you want to contribute anything, Sheik, go ahead. I mean, I feel like we're kind of like
Do you need one of those new Starbucks coffee enemas like that they're trying to sell in Japan?
Nah,
We've
like
got some of those in the back.
I'm really scared that my internet will go out while I'm talking.
just go ahead. All right, what do you have to say about this, Sheik?
About the whole Battlefront thing,
Yeah, anything. We've been
cause
talking
like
about.
I pretty much avoided the entire Battlefront series because I just absolutely loved the first and second one,
Mhm.
and I did not want to see one of my favorite games just go to shit.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's why I don't start up Payday anymore.
Oh, that
I'm
too.
mostly that guy who likes to remind people that Star Wars isn't sci-fi, it's about space wizards with laser swords.
Mhm.
I'm that guy.
It is
Mhm.
kind of yeah, I do like that. That is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
And it is to an extent. I mean, when you think about sci-fi, as I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I mean, I don't want to knock Star Wars and say it. I mean, it is sci-fi to an extent. I mean, but there are a lot of great sci-fi series out there that like real sci-fi.
mm, I'm not
Remember when Farscape weaponized wormholes and just was just like, "This is your universe on wormholes." Like we get it, you guys don't like the anti-drug cart campaigns. It's fine. It's
Mhm.
getting weird, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, some of my favorite sci-fi series are Battlestar Galactica, Stargate. Probably my two favorite. I know Mateo, who's lurking. Galactica is one of his favorite shows as well.
Did anyone else get weirded out by like the remake Battlestar Galactica when like the robots got way more religious than anyone you've ever seen? Like even televangelists on TV. Like
I
I
never
was just
watched it.
like, of all the things to get religious in this show, like the robots are like, well, the god said be fruitful, and we can't have babies, and I don't even have a working hoo-ha. This is just a blender with the blade removed. I don't.
What? I have no idea what you. I never watched the show. Never.
Oh, that was the
you,
Battlestar Galactica remake concept.
Mm,
yeah, you should. I mean, the original. I have the original series too, which was pretty awesome.
all right.
I really enjoyed that one.
All right, go ahead, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I did too. I enjoyed both of them, but I do hear what you're saying. The remake or the new modern series was definitely uh leaned a lot more towards a religion type of theme.
Mm.
It is what it is. Anyway, go ahead, Betty. Carry on with your
All right.
podcast.
So the next topic I picked is bad experiences with uh gaming communities, groups, people you played with. You know, like you thought they were cool and then they just completely flipped. And what happened? No, you don't have to name names. Obviously, you don't have to say who it was. Just
Well,
in
you should
general.
start with one of those topics because they're all individual topics. Like
No, I
bad
feel they're very
experiences with
close.
gaming communities. I mean, bad experiences with individual players and game
Mhm.
communities. I think are a little bit different because I have like there's a lot of communities that just go sideways, and most of the time it's due to the leadership um, in the group itself. You know, just for example, I mean, you have groups, and see, this comes back to Valve again. Okay, like you had OTG, Original Trader Groups. I'm gonna put them on blast. Normally, I wouldn't call out a group or talk trash, and
Mhm.
I do have the founder on Steam too. But they were literally blackmailing developers for keys. They were like, if you don't give us keys for your games for giveaways and stuff, we're gonna give you bad reviews all over the place, and we can because we have
delicious Yelp style
Yeah,
Ooh,
interrogation
I'm a Yelp
methods.
reviewer.
we have a large community, and we can really make your game look bad. So, and this was going on for like a year or so, and nobody called them out on it. But one day, a developer actually called them out and posted his email on Twitter. This actually picked up traction, and so much so in mainstream media that Valve actually had to intervene, which is like Valve intervening. Holy shit! Like it's like Moses parting the Red Sea.
That's like you had to kick Moses out of bed on a hangover Sunday, and then he just like gets out his magic wand and is just like, "Come to me, bees," and just hucks him out the window. Like, no, it is my hangover day.
Like Valve should have terminated this group. They should have banned him from the Steam community. What did they do? All they did was remove his personal reviews. And he wasn't even threatening developers personally. He was threatening them through the group and the group reviews.
Is the group still alive?
Yeah, it's still
Oh
there.
my
Valve did
God.
nothing. Valve did absolutely nothing. All they did was remove his personal reviews from store page, and they were like, don't do it again. But what is he doing? He's still doing it. He's still doing it. Groups still kicking, and other people, like people in the community, were so outraged that this guy was doing this and blackmailing not only developers, but he was blackmailing his own staff. Because I knew some of his staff. Like he was like telling them he was like telling like people that want to be staff, oh, if you want to be part of our staff, you have to give away a certain amount of games on this website, on that website, you got to do this. And like they reported him to Valve. There was a lot of outcry from the community as well, outside of just developers. Valve did absolutely nothing. Did not a care in the fucking world. GG.
Yeah, they just they really
I
their
can say there's a bit
ideology.
of that happened in the YouTube just review community, because I guess there was a bunch of people impersonating YouTubers who go out and email people for review keys and then immediately turn around and sell it on a key reseller. So like I had a bunch of large developers who I actually went through a little vetting process and a couple of Skype calls so they'd send me stuff to review. They're like, "Are you a real person? Can you verify that you're not an alien synthoid?"
To what Butamus is saying, you could find bad apples in nearly every community. That is 100% right. Like in gaming communities, there's always going to be your trolls, your weird people. It's just how it is. Especially the larger communities. I mean, we're pretty lucky in that area. Like for all, like I don't want to say we're massive, but we're all right. We're not tiny, but we haven't really dealt with a lot of trolls. But that's inevitable. But I think bad experiences in communities is not just a toxic environment, which, yes, being in a toxic environment, but you could take yourself out of that as well. But I think this is more of a conversation about management, being toxic and, basically what I just mentioned. Like, that's like a bad community experience, like really bad. Also, a toxic environment, sure. That would be a bad community experience as well, which I've seen, I definitely have seen that as well. But again, you don't have to.
I can say that
people choose to stay in that.
If anyone out there has ever like decided to make their own little fun YouTube video, it doesn't matter if you make one just for kicks and it's really good and it goes viral. Never try posting your videos on Reddit unless someone else recommends that you do so for whatever reason. Because like Reddit is a great community for hatred and vitriol. If you make anything of yours and then share it once, even though 90% of the stuff you share is other people's stuff, they will hound you back and forth. Like that's why I don't do a lot of stuff on Reddit anymore. I just got tired of it.
I think with those communities, those social communities, I think there's like a hierarchy. It starts with Reddit, and those are the Reddit's for like your hipsters, and then it goes to 4chan, then it goes to 8chan. It's just the hierarchy of it all.
There definitely is favorites on some subreddits. I see like gaming subreddits, and they have like this one YouTuber. He's always on it, and then someone else is like, "Hey guys, I found this new way you can blah blah blah. Have an advantage in the game." Everyone's like, "Don't post your shit here, asshole." And like it's like, what?
Yeah, like a huge portion of Reddit hates Donkey, But God knows every time that kid farts something new out, it's up at the top. And like some of his stuff is funny, but it's not all that funny.
Video
Like
game.
Reddit
I
is a
love Donkey.
huge hypocritical hot. I like some of his stuff. A lot of it's just kind of white noise to me. But like no matter what he makes, like Reddit's just like, oh, rub it all over me. Oh.
Mm-hmm. It is very hypocritical. The site
Yeah,
is
I don't
super
know.
hypocritical.
Yeah, L0 is right. It is called the internet. People do hide behind being able to be anonymous. I personally don't. I don't care. My name is all over stuff. If you look hard enough, you could, probably
You know
find out
who
where I
was the
live.
most polite that has ever rated the comment section of one of my videos? 4chan. One of the
Really?
groups on 4chan came and like they were like linking me to tools. There were some assholes. Like there's gonna be at least 4,
Mm-hmm.
17, 40. But like they were legit. Like they're just like, by the way, like someone posted this on 4chan. I'm like, oh god, really? Oh, this is gonna be a great weekend.
Yeah. What I found with them is that they like you, they like you. If they anything else, if they don't really like you, they hate you. But
And that was my Dead Space series that was a little questionable on the PC side.
hmm, what 4chan? Yeah. Um, but
I
go.
think a lot of those communities, 4chan, they're very small nowadays compared to where they used to be way back in the day. And it's not really anything new. I mean, because way before 4chan and all these, there was IRC, and IRC was, if not worse than 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit all
Oh man,
combined.
I was on the Encyclopedia Dramatica IRC during
Ooh. Ooh.
Obama versus McCain.
Hmm.
That was an interesting experience.
Um, I don't think for like the Chans, of course, they have bad stuff, but that's because it's a non-minute. Whatever. I can't even say the word because I'm dumb. But there are groups on the Chans that are all right, and they are really dead at like on V on some of the video game boards. They have like what's a good one? What was it? What was that game? It has Dwarf Fortress, right? They were completely serious, pretty much in that thread. They know like everything about the game. They're experts in that, and it's a good one. It's fine, if you like the game and you do it, but they really they really don't care about you. Like if you like, they don't care what you are or anything. It's just you know I can't explain it completely, but I don't think it's the worst thing out there. There's definitely a lot worse. But yeah.
Delinquent, that's pretty true.
I mean, the other thing to say for Delinquent was I used to play World of Warcraft with a guy who literally gave out his address, which is because he was a bodybuilder. Like, that was his job.
Mhm.
And he lived in Florida, and someone actually came to his door. He just opens the door. He's like, you think you're going to do that? You think you can make it back to your car before I grab the 9-iron behind the door and bash your head in? That's what I thought. He recorded it, too. It was the best. I wish it was still up. Oh, that used to make me laugh so hard.
I don't know delinquent like the rise of the coward, but there are some things that people like are I don't know how to explain it too well. It's a place where you can say what you want, and since no one really knows who you are, it's really just they're caring about what you're saying and not who you are. They don't care about what you've done, etc., etc.
Well, I mean, the thing that I say is like, you have the tools online to get rid of these people. You can report them, you can block them,
Okay, ignore
you
them.
can literally take them to the police station
I just
and
like to
have
trace
the
down their IP
ISP.
addresses and
Yeah,
let
you
them
Make it
show
can.
up
easy,
at
make
their
it easy,
house.
Fredo.
Well,
I just
or you
like
can
to
do
show
like
up at their
people on
house and
Twitter
tell their
did
mom,
and just
"What
show
your
the
son's doing?"
police, and the police will track down their IP and go have like a knock on their door, like, "Is Timmy home? Because we would like to have some words with him." Or you could SWAT them and have the SWAT team
Whoa,
really
whoa,
kill
whoa!
them.
Take it
That's
easy,
fine
No,
too.
whoa, take
Just
it
Let's not talk
easy,
kidding.
about.
guy.
Let's not go that way.
No, they've actually started doing a good job of cracking down on that.
It was like one. First off, there's not that doesn't happen as much as people think. There was like literally the one kid that got caught. I think he was from Canada. He pretty
Quebec.
much, yeah, he was pretty much responsible for a majority of
Mhm.
the swatting in the last like few years.
Well,
It's
I'm
like nobody see this, and this comes to with delinquent. What delinquent was saying, the age of the coward. a lot of people talk a lot of shit. Like, not too long ago, I got trolled by somebody that it was happening to get some of my personal information. But I have a lot of personal information that's out in the public, and I do that because I just whatever it is what it is. I won't get into that right now, but I know they won't do anything because at the end of the day, if unless you have a mental illness, you're not going to do that because you're not going to want to spend the rest of your life in jail because that's where you're going to go, especially if you're American, because you're going to be considered a terrorist. That's basically what they're charging with people now that are swatting people.
Well,
like
and
you're being
people
charged
think
with
like
domestic
it's
terrorism.
really easy to hide your IP over these voice services. It's really not. It's just the
No.
only reason it took so long to get after that kid in Japan was they gotta put forth the paperwork to get his name.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like, or not
exactly.
Japan. Did I say Japan? I meant Canada. But
Same thing.
like, I think he swatted like 7 people, and honestly, the swatting was kind of a good thing for them. It kind of started a couple of their streaming careers. You shouldn't swat yourself, first off, because they'll get your ass. And the second thing is, they could accidentally shoot you.
Yeah,
So you don't want that.
obviously.
Like,
I
it's
think
not a
I
thing.
think good practice as any type of online broadcaster, regardless of is just to if you're an online broadcaster and you're an active online broadcaster, you might want to consider going to your local police department and just informing them of who you are, what you do, and what the potential ramifications may come, even though they're not of your own malicious doing. They're just and you're not doing anything wrong. It's just people are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
you
good
could
thing and the bad thing about where I live is I know the sheriff department does.
Well, me
Crap.
too. Me too. I know. I know a lot of. I went to school with a lot of the cops. Like, so I don't.
Around
I'm
here,
like,
you'll call
whatever.
like someone got shot. They're like, no, they didn't, sir. Hang up. Thanks for coming to check.
It's like maybe.
That's what you get for living rurally. There's like 3 guys that work at the sheriff's department in the massive county. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. Everyone else here has guns. They could duke it out.
Everyone's safe with guns. Yeah, I understand that, delinquent. I understand that. But so what were we on now? So we're on we kind of branched off quite a bit, but we're talking about bad communities and stuff. Has anyone noticed that some communities try to jump the gun too much on monetization? Because I've seen that before, or their simple reason for starting is to make money, and they completely fail, or people along the line just become complete assholes. I've
Well,
had that
yeah,
happen.
there's a lot of groups like that. I'm not going to go into names.
Oh, that's why I said
yeah,
you don't have to.
yeah, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there's plenty of groups out there that are just in this, for money, and I get it to an extent. You want to make a living doing what you love to do, but I just think it comes down to doing things ethically, and I don't know. I think that's a selling point for a lot of people, and it's not real. Like I don't know. It's a hard question, I guess, because
It's a lot harder too to immediately sell out right now than it
Yeah.
was like 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I can say that it's not impossible to get people to come like do sponsored videos with you. I've had number of different offers, including like even though I've never once like held up a controller in any one of my videos, this is not a product placement.
Uh-huh.
Like I had a controller company say like you should come in here and you should at the end of every one of your videos try to sell like our controller fob, and I'm just like that's a little much. But there's 2 problems with trying to sell it immediately. Like A, there are people who expect you to do all the sales and you get a percentage of all the sales, but if you don't have an existing audience to sell to, like JonTron with his millions, like no one's going to buy it, you're not going to make any money, and you're going to alienate the people who are already watching your little, videos. But the things that I think people should look for that are kind of a respectable thing to do is when you can provide your own, as I knocked my microphone around, if you can provide your own feedback for a game in your own review and kind of give your thoughts on it, and then I'm talking with my hands too much and I'm throttling my microphone.
That's great.
If you can just plug them at the end and then you don't have to worry about alienating anybody. If they got that far and they want like a free little gift when they first download the game, go to this website,
Yeah.
and then you get money every time they click on it. I started doing that with mobile games, and the company actually puts the videos on their site so that they can make sure that it gets traffic and we both win.
Yeah. But there are some people who do it real sleazy. What was that whole the thing that
User
happened
joined
on
your
YouTube
channel.
with well, it was Xbox, I think, Microsoft, and people were doing promotions for them, but they weren't saying they were doing it, and there was
So
legal
this was
trouble.
mostly on Machinima, it turned
Machinima.
out, after they leaked the documents that Microsoft like signed to have Machinima promote them. Machinima, the evil boogeyman of the YouTube world for like content creator networks, they basically enticed people. If you put this tag in your video and we see it in the system and you don't say it's sponsored, then we'll give you so many extra dollars per clip, for CPM, for towards your next payment. And then like one of the guys who hates Machinima and wants them to fire him released it to Total Biscuit and some other YouTubers, and everyone's just like, well, first off, this is weird and sketchy and questionable. And second off, technically you can get in trouble with the FCC as a YouTuber and they can fine you.
Yeah.
So you should reveal if something is in fact sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you should. There should be a disclaimer. Like, even with us, our reviews and stuff, we put a disclaimer if we got a key from the developer or whatever the case may be.
And I mean, even if there isn't like some big brother out there who's going to charge you a bunch of money for being an a-hole, like, it just alienates the viewers if you try to lie to them like that.
Definitely.
It's not a good thing to do. I mean, you want to keep the people who are loyal to you happy, and if you alienate your core group, like, you are just SOL.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about Machinima though. Like a lot of.
So, Machinima, we could just talk about them briefly. Machinima got in a lot of trouble because they started hemorrhaging money because they weren't doing much to promote and help their content creators, although not a lot of people really do, but at least some of them provide you with tools. And if you signed their later contracts, they actually forced you to release so many videos with such and such quality requirements every week, or they would fine you.
Yeah.
And like PewDiePie was one of the people that literally sued them in order to get away from them, and now they're a part of like Maker Studio with Disney just bought.
That's odd. I heard the YouTuber what's his name, Ross Scott. He made Freeman's Mind. He had some trouble.
Yeah, what's his name? He's the something barn.
Oh yeah. Accursed Farms.
That's the one.
Yeah. He had problems with Machinima. They were messing with his paycheck and stuff like that. They really stopped caring about quality and more about quantity, and they mess with your money with that. It just Machinima.
And the nice thing, at least, is now like YouTube enforced some rules where you can go through YouTube to disengage yourself from your content network. The content network, of course, is going to mess with you, but
yeah.
I think that's a call for me upstairs. I think I need to cut out of this one for right now. I wasn't sure how long this would be, but it's been fun, guys.
I think we'll end it here. We talked for a good time. And we'll save the rest of the topics for next time. So yeah, thanks for everyone who came out and watched our first podcast. About an hour. It's good. We talked about quite a few things, and I hopefully plan to do this about every Saturday, but not next Saturday because I have to do something. But the following I will. But yeah, thanks for everyone who came out, and see you all next time, guys.
Bye, everybody. Beautimus, I got a thing I'm planning that I might invite you to too.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate it.
Say bye.
We hope you enjoyed yourself.
Sheik, you gonna say bye?
Wait, I gotta put on my badass sunglasses.
Oh shit! Okay, it's working.
For the
Wait,
outro.
Destroyer just joined us too, and so we're finishing.
Well, I mean, next time, have more chance. All right.